Hello and welcome to The Print. I am Samah Qundeel. Over the past few days, US President Donald Trump has repeated his country's claim over Greenland, drawing sharp reactions not just from Denmark but from all of Europe. Now, if that's not enough, what's added to the controversy is Trump's letter to Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre, declaring that he no longer feels bound to think purely of peace, citing the Nobel Committee's decision to award him the Nobel Peace Prize. This is what Trump said in his letter, and I quote, "Considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America." Now, this comes amidst his repeated threats over Greenland. Greenland is a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark. Both Denmark and Norway are a part of NATO. Trump has repeatedly argued that the US needs Greenland for national security, citing missile detection, Arctic shipping routes, and growing Russian and Chinese activity in the region. In response to that, today Beijing renewed its call on the US to stop using China threat to justify its ambition to take over Greenland. China has repeatedly elaborated its position on the Greenland issue on many occasions. International law, based on the purposes and principles of the UN Charter, is the foundation of the current international order and must be safeguarded. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Guo Jiakun told reporters in Beijing, "We urge the US side to stop using the so-called China threat as a pretext to pursue selfish gains," Guo added. On Saturday, Trump dramatically raised the stakes. He announced that the US would impose a 10% tariff on all goods imported from the UK and several European allies starting February 1, rising to 25% by June 1, unless a deal is reached for the US to take over Greenland. The countries targeted include United Kingdom, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, France, Germany, and the Netherlands. Trump framed the move as necessary to protect global peace and security, arguing that Denmark and its allies have created what he called an untenable risk by resisting US control of Greenland. In a joint statement issued on Sunday, the mentioned 8 European countries have said that tariff threats undermine transatlantic ties and risk a dangerous downward spiral. They also expressed commitment to strengthening Arctic security and offered support to the people of Greenland, saying, and I quote, "As members of the NATO, we stand in full solidarity with the Kingdom of Denmark and the people of Greenland." Greenland sits between North America and the Arctic, a strategic position for early missile warning systems and military surveillance. The US already maintains a military presence there, including a missile monitoring base under agreements with Denmark that allow Washington to deploy additional forces if needed. Greenland is also rich in untapped natural resources, including rare earth minerals, uranium, and iron. Resources that are becoming easier to access as climate change melts Arctic ice. Despite this, Denmark has repeatedly stated that Greenland is not for sale, and Greenland's own government has said that it would rather remain Danish than become American. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has publicly rejected Trump's approach, calling the tariffs completely wrong. He said Greenland's future is a matter for Denmark and Greenland alone, and warned that punishing NATO allies for collective security efforts undermines the alliance itself. While calling it a very serious situation, he also seemed to rule out retaliatory tariffs by the UK, saying a trade war is in nobody's interest. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer confirmed that the UK will pursue the matter directly with the White House, while also signaling that Britain is prepared to do more on Arctic security through NATO cooperation. In his address today, even though he criticized US tariffs, Starmer also reiterated that the UK and US are close allies and close partners, and the relationship mattered profoundly. When asked whether the King's state visit to the US should go ahead in April, Starmer says it's important to have a good relationship with the United States. Thank you for watching. For more such content, follow The Print.